I'm Chef Paul and welcome to my secret vanilla sponge recipe. This recipe I don't usually share, but for this special occasion I will with you. It's the most fluffiest, flexible sponge you've ever tasted. It's very versatile, can be used for many things. There's a lot of ingredients, but they're all very simple. The way it's put together is very different to what you've seen before, so I look forward to sharing this with you and hope you try it. So we're going to get started. So the first ingredient is egg whites. So we pour the egg whites into the bowl. The next thing is, again, one of my favorite ingredients, egg white powder or meringue powder. This will help strengthen the egg whites to make it very strong. So when we fold in the other ingredients, it keeps the light fluffiness and makes it very strong and keeps it light. This is one of my secrets. So to this now we go into whisk. So we're whisking this on high speed. While this is whisking, we're going to do a few other parts of the recipe. We're going to take the oil and the milk, and we're just going to set that aside. Now we're going to do the dry ingredients. We take the flour, the baking powder, and the salt, and we're going to sift all that together. This is not just for removing any foreign bodies, but also to lighten the mix. Already you can see the egg whites are getting big and fluffy. So the next thing we're going to do is start to add some sugar to help them stabilize the meringue. So we're just going to add the sugar slowly. So this is quite a large recipe for this machine because we're going to make two things from the cake. We're going to make a sheet, which we're going to turn into a jelly roll, and we're also going to make cupcakes. This, like I say, recipe is very versatile. It also makes amazing milk cake or tres leche cake. Okay, so unlike lots of meringues, this one is very light. So the next step, we're going to pour in the egg yolks, which is very similar to the lady's fingers. And then we're going to fold that through the mix. If you don't have egg white powder in at this point, your meringue will collapse and you lose a lot of volume and go very watery. So this is why it's good to use. Fat is the enemy of egg whites. So if you have any fat in your bowl, when you try and whisk your meringue, you will not be able to whisk it. It will just stop. So now we have this nice, thick, fluffy mixture. We're going to add the dry ingredients in 3 parts, which have been sifted. So we're just going to put that across the top. Just gently go from the bottom, folding to the top. Again, you don't have to fold all the way through. We just want to get that mixed in because we're going to mix again and again. Okay, so now this is one of the strange parts. So what we're going to do, we have the milk and the oil. We're going to take some of the sponge mix. The reason why we do this, oil is fat, milk is fat. If we added that at the beginning, you will lose the volume and you will not be able to get the light fluffy sponge. So what we're doing now is we're just going to emulsify and mix these items together just to make like a smooth paste. So this way we can fold this easily into here. So these are 2 things you don't usually find in this style of recipe. So then we're going to pour that back in, and then going to carefully fold that through so everything is combined. Really nicely mixed, it's smooth, everything's folded through. And you see we still have the bowls full. We haven't lost all that air, which is so important for light fluffy cakes. It's finished mixing. The consistency is silky smooth, light and fluffy. This will ensure that the cake is the same. So now we move on to using the vanilla sponge into the molds. So we're going to do a cupcake where we're using a silicone mold that you can buy off the internet. with a paper cup pushed inside. So just make sure you buy the right cup to fit your mold. And we're going to do a jelly roll, which is like a Swiss roll, which we're going to make a sheet, which afterwards will be rolled up with the filling inside. So for the cupcakes, much easier to either use a piping bag or a scoop to do that. So we're going to use a piping bag. So all I've done is put this into a measuring jug, pulled it over so I can fill this easily. So we're just going to take the mix, and just fill inside the bag. Okay, so once that's filled, I'm just going to bring the outside of the bag carefully up. I already have a hole pre-cut. We're just going to then go to the molds, fill them just underneath the top edge. Okay, these cakes will rise very high, but then they will come back down, so they're very level. So now it's time for the cupcakes. We're going to bake the cakes at 140 degrees centigrade. We're going to start with 10 minutes. Again, this is a new mold, a new shape. So we're going to start with 10 minutes and see how we go. Set the oven for preheating. Okay, so now we're going to bake the vanilla cupcakes. So we're going to set the oven. We're going to hit set. Time, 10 minutes. We'll start with 10 minutes. We will go to temperature. We're going to go 140 degrees. Fan speed, 1. Now when we hit start, the oven will automatically preheat. Oven is telling us it's ready. Let's start to cook. Okay, so the oven will automatically start now, and the timer will go after 10 minutes. It will make an alert and the door will open. So we'll keep our eye to see if the time needs more or less, because now we're doing a little bit of experimentation, just like you do at home. As we can hear, the oven's ready, the door is opened. So there are our cupcakes. So we set the timer originally for 10 minutes. We added a few more minutes and a few more minutes. So we ended up at 17 minutes for the cupcakes. And you can see they are nice and spongy and super fluffy and light. So we're gonna let these cool down and then we're gonna decorate. So the meringues are all dry, crispy and ready to be filled. So we're gonna prepare the cream. The cream is what we did earlier. It's a white chocolate honey whipped ganache. And as you can see, it's slightly thickened. It's been in the chiller for around 12 hours. And all we're gonna do now is whip this like whipped cream. And it's gonna be super decadent and light and really good with the meringues. So we take the white chocolate honey whipped ganache. We're just gonna pour it into the machine. Now I recommend to whip this when you need to use it. If you put this in the fridge afterwards, it will start to firm up and get quite hard. So whip what you need as you need it. It's better to stay in the fridge as a liquid. Okay, so we're going to close the machine and then we're going to turn it on and whisk like whipped cream. We want to whisk until it's like semi-stiff. If you whip too far, it will split. Okay, so when it starts to thicken, it thickens fast, very, very fast. So as you can see now, it's nice and thick, but super, super creamy and smooth. Now, the great thing about the white chocolate whipped ganache, with a whipped cream, it will eventually fall down and break and collapse. With the chocolate, it adds the stability, and also the richness and the smoothness. So it's a real decadent treat. So we're just gonna basically just give it a slight mix to make sure everything's mixed through. But now if you see how smooth it is, and it's just like something you want to eat. So now it's time for decorating the cupcakes. We've got nice fluffy cupcakes, very, very soft. We have white chocolate honey whipped ganache. Now this one we've whipped very, very soft. As you can see, it's very soft. Reason being, we're going to use a special piping tip called a Russian piping tip. It's very small holes. As the cream comes through, it's going to get thicker and thicker. So it's important that we don't have it too thick, otherwise it will split. So we're going to put some cream in the bag. Again, very soft cream. Okay. Now the technique with this is very different to any other piping tip. So we have to basically squeeze, pull, squeeze, pull, squeeze, pull, squeeze, pull, and it's going to be built in layers. Okay. Once we've done that, we're just going to put a strawberry on the top. So here we have it. It's a ultra light, fluffy vanilla cupcake with a white chocolate whipped honey ganache, fresh strawberry. It's the lightest cupcake you'll ever taste. So refreshing. You must try it at home. Let me know your thoughts.